What is going on YouTube? I am Lamont at Large. Today I am at the Dale Cemetery here in McLeod, Oklahoma. I'm here to visit the grave of Marilyn Plantz, a woman who was put to death via lethal injection by the state of Oklahoma for the murder of her husband. That right there is the Grand Hotel and Casino, and that freeway right there is Interstate 40. Let's get into this story. August 1988, a happily married couple by the name of James and Marilyn Plantz. James 33, Marilyn 27. They have 2 kids. They live in a suburb, Midwest city, not very far from here. Happily married, family and friends would say a fantastic couple. James was a pressman supervisor at the Daily Oklahoma, a newspaper out here. And Marilyn was a stay-at-home mom and a Sunday school teacher. Everything is perfect. Everything is fine. Everybody gets along. Not according to her 18-year-old lover, William Clifford Bryson. Wonder what's going on over here. She's having an extramarital affair, stepping out on the husband. Some of us do it. Some of us are doing it right now. But that is not the cause of why we are here. So a plan is hatched between William Clifford Bryson, Marilyn Plantz, about how to get away from her loveless marriage, marry him, and they can start a new life somewhere else outside of Oklahoma. Now, both of them are broke. They don't have any money. She's in a marriage. She has 2 kids. They're going to have to figure something out. But Marilyn has a great idea. Fantastic idea. I know what I'll do, she says. My husband has 2 life insurance policies worth $300,000. He's worth more dead than alive. We'll kill him, get the insurance money, and we'll run away and start a new life. Sounds simple enough. So the plan comes into fruition. However, they have to make the murder appear to be accidental. How do we do that? They start constructing a plan. So William gets his friend Clinton McKimble, also 18 years of age. He tells him, hey, listen, we'll each get roughly about $22,000, $45,000 split between the 2 of us. All we have to do is kill my girlfriend's husband. And at first, Clinton has some sense to him. He says, you're ridiculous. I'm not killing anybody. What's wrong with you? But the dumb, idiot, low IQ moron in him says, well, $22,000, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, especially in 1988. That's a whole lot of money. You could do a lot with that money. You could buy video games, a car, clothes, go buy McDonald's hamburgers. You could do whatever you want. Buy some weed, drinks, whatever you want to do with that money. So the plan comes to fruition. James is working as a pressman, floor supervisor at the Daily Oklahoman. He works from about 7 o'clock in the evening till around 4 o'clock in the morning. He gets off of work. Yeah, he'll usually be home in about 20 minutes. So Marilyn has an idea. She says, okay, this is what we'll do. We'll wait for him to come home and we'll kill him with baseball bats. My children's baseball bats. The baseball bats that they use to play Little League baseball. That's a pretty good idea. So they sit at the house and wait for him to get off work. Now, that day, somebody got cold feet. That plan didn't come to fruition. Somebody did come to the door, but it was a nosy neighbor wanting to spread the latest town gossip. Marilyn hatches another plan. You and Clinton wait for James to get off work and follow him. And then as you're following him, you can bump him behind in his car. And then he'll stop because, he just got into an accident. And then you can beat him with the baseball bats. Oh, that's a pretty good idea. However, that failed because they lost him in the traffic. Finally, Marilyn says, okay, I'll get you a gun. And then you could just follow him when he gets off of work and then shoot him. That's what we'll do. That's a good one. Let's do that. William gets the gun and he pawns it. He needs a couple bucks, Money's kind of tight those days, you know what I mean? And she's kind of frustrated with everything. She really, really, really wants her husband dead. Like, badly. She has 300,000 reasons why she wants him dead. Okay. We'll go back to plan A. We'll wait for him to get off work. And then we'll do it. Now, she is getting tired of these two individuals getting, just bumbling everything up. So William tells her about his friend named Roderick Eugene Ferris. This guy's a stone cold killer. He'll do it. This guy's big and bad and tough. We'll pay him $10,000. Yeah, easy peasy lemon squeezy, as they say in Iowa. So they go to Roderick's job, and he says, oh, yeah, I could do that. I'll kill him. $10,000? That's a lot more money than they're paying me here at this bum job making $2.70 an hour. I'll do it. And the plan comes into effect. Except Roderick gets arrested that night for an unrelated crime. So he's in jail. He can't commit the murder because he has other problems on his plate. So finally, after all the bumbling, all the hijinks, if you will, the ineptitude to commit a brazen murder, it is set August 26, 1988. We'll stay at home. We'll get some beers, get some hamburgers, smoke some crack, the usual night in Midwest City, Oklahoma. So they lie in wait. The plan is simple. We'll go back to the first plan. He gets off of work, he comes in, you beat him with baseball bats. So William and Clinton, they're sitting and watching TV, smoking crack, eating hamburgers, and they hear a key enter the lock. Here we go. Shh. So they run and hide and wait for him to come in through the door. He comes in through the door, and William springs with the baseball bat. Pow! Right upside the head. Clinton also, with his baseball bat, starts pummeling him. As they're pummeling him, you have a sense of wanting to live. You don't want to die. So James ain't going down very easily. And they're just going to town on him like whack-a-mole. And as they're doing this, he's crying out for his wife. Marilyn, help, Marilyn. She's hiding in the other room. She's waiting for the beating to stop. Finally, he stops moving. He is a bloody pulp lying on the ground. Hamburger meat, if you will. She comes out She looks at him. She sees like a big, just what it used to be her husband. Big cuts, a big, huge open gash on his head. She says, that doesn't look like an accident. Remember, guys, the original plan of the story was that it was supposed to look like an accident. She says, oh, the hell with it. Just throw him in his truck, take him out into the woods, and set it on fire. So they drag his body, throw it into the back of the pickup truck, and they haul to eastern Oklahoma, pull over to the side of the road, take him out from the bed, put him inside of the truck at the front wheel. Clinton takes a rag, throws it into the gas tank, and lights it on fire. This guy has watched too many movies. That's not how we set a car on fire. So William shows him how it is correctly done. So he gets the gasoline, pours it all over the truck, sets it on fire. Poof. You have a blazed truck with one James Earl Plantz inside. So they hightail it out of there. They go back to Marilyn's house. They're covered in blood. She takes her deceased husband's clothes, gives it to them, and says, go ahead and change. Takes their clothes, wraps it in plastic bags, gives it to them, and says, get rid of them. So they go, they get rid of their clothes, they throw it in the river somewhere. And William noticed that there's some money in James's pants. There's a couple bucks. Hey, you want to go get some sandwiches from the store, get some sodas? Yeah, sure, let's go. So they go, get some sandwiches, some soda, some candy, you know, what 18-year-olds do, along with a murder, apparently, from this story. So they split up. Clinton goes home. William goes to his friend's house, a man by the name of Michael Kendrick. He goes to the house and he tells Michael, hey, I just killed my girlfriend's husband. And Mike doesn't believe him. He's like, yeah, right. But he looks at his hands and there's covered in blood, droplets of blood. He looks at his shoes, covered in droplets of blood. Amazing. He did keep the shoes. He kept his shoes. He liked his shoes. He didn't want to trade shoes. He didn't want to throw his shoes away. He just threw his clothes away. So he calls up Clinton and says, hey, man, come over here. I'm at Mike's house. So Clinton meets him over there and they start laughing. Did you see the way he was calling out for his wife's name? LOL, ha, ha, ha. They are rolling. Smoking weed, drinking beer, and rolling. Hilarious times over there at Michael's house. Yeah, that's pretty funny. The next day, somebody discovers a burnt out truck. What a human body outside. Detectives come, process the scene of the crime. They look at it, they say it looks like an accident, except they notice that whoever this is, because he's burned beyond recognition, he has one left foot out of the truck on the ground. Quite peculiar. Let's take him down to the medical examiner's office for autopsy. The coroner's assistant conducts the autopsy, and it is determined that this man died from blunt force trauma via the baseball bats. Also, thermal burns. Opens up the chest cavity, examines the lungs, and notices that there is smoke in his lungs, which tells you he was still alive when they set the truck on fire. They go to the registered owners of the truck's house. They say, does your husband own such and such truck? Yes, he does. Your husband's been killed in an accident. While they're telling her that, in the back of their minds, something's going on. And as things come out, they learn, of course, oh, wow. They learn as they start interviewing people, what? She had an 18-year-old boyfriend? Oh, that's amazing. Oh, he had 2 life insurance policies for the amount of $300,000. They quickly suspect all along what they've just known, but couldn't just come out and say, this lady's a murderer. And so they start talking to people. People start pointing fingers because they don't want to get in trouble. They start, quote unquote, snitching. And the police quickly arrest Marilyn Plantz, Clinton McKimball, and William Bryson. Now, Clinton is an idiot. This guy's a moron. But he ain't that stupid. He quickly tells detectives what they want to hear. Because they're telling him, right now, kid, we are going for the death penalty. Let me tell you this right now. We are going for the death penalty. You're going to die via the lethal injection. You're going to get the big needle, blah, blah, blah. And he's 18 years old. His life is flashing before his very eyes. He said, you know what? I'll tell you what you want to hear. So he tells them everything. It's basically what I told you was his testimony and in his interview in the interrogation room. So they tell William, he knows the jig is up. Marilyn is denying it. And as a matter of fact, James's family, how dare the police think that dear sweet Marilyn would ever do such a thing to our James? How dare you? We got to get her a lawyer because they're trying to say that she murdered him. The detective stopped them. Put your pocketbook away. Don't write that check. We're going to save you a lot of money here. Your daughter-in-law is a cold-blooded killer. She planned this all along. And here's the proof. They show her the taped interview of Clinton just going blah, 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 sealing the fate of Marilyn and William. So they go to trial. Clinton McKimball is on the stand, points his finger at Marilyn and says she was going to pay us $45,000 to kill her husband. And that's what we did. William is, of course, fighting his case because, quote unquote, he's innocent. The jury of the trial thinks otherwise. They deliberated for about 5 hours or so, and they came back with a verdict of guilty, as did Marilyn Plantz. They were both sentenced to die by lethal injection. And that day came for William Clifford Bryson. On June 15th, 2000, he met his maker. He got the big needle. Next up was Marilyn Plantz, who by that time was about 40 years old now. She had changed her life around. She found God, like a lot of people do in prison when they're on death row and their mortal world is quickly coming to an end. And she was the second woman in Oklahoma to be executed after Wanda Jean Allen, after they reinstated the death penalty. A very, very sad story, to say the least. So right now we're going to be walking upon her grave. She's buried right over there near that fence. And here we are. This is the grave of Marilyn K. Plantz, October 19th, 1960, until her execution date on May 1st, 2001. These are her parents. Looks like her mother died a few months after she did. All that trouble for murdering your husband. Now, during the interview between the detectives and William Bryson, he said as he was beating James with the baseball bat, they wanted to know what was going through his mind. And he said that all he could think about is all the times that Marilyn came to him with black eyes from being abused by James. Now, I cannot substantiate those claims. I don't know. That's simply what he said. And of course, she ended up not getting the $300,000. The $300,000 went to her two kids, Christopher and Trina Plantz. Marilyn's last words were, and I quote, "I have overcome the world. Nothing, absolutely nothing can separate us from the love of God. If you all want to see me again, you must be born again." Her last meal was a chicken taco salad, a Mexican pizza, 2 enchiladas, 2 chicken soft tacos, an order of cinnamon twists, a slice of pecan pie, and 2 cans of Coca-Cola. I guess in Oklahoma, they let you order Taco Bell as your last meal. I feel that you should be able to eat whatever you want, since that is your last meal. Unfortunately, the family of James Earl Plantz, who witnessed the execution, did not hear an apology emanating from her voice before she met her maker. A very sad side note to this story: Christopher Plantz, the son of James and Marylyn, died in an automobile accident just a few months after his mother's execution. He died in an automobile crash, so he probably never really got to enjoy that money. Very, very sad. Anyways, guys, Lamont at Large, I'm signing out from Dale Cemetery. Just a tragic story at the end of the day, and as I say, payable on death. I'll catch up with you on the next vlog, guys. Peace out.